Hey there, I'm Demetria. I've been a content creator for 20 years and I'm happy to share my journey of content creation with you. On today, I'm going to be talking about finding your sweet spot, finding your niche for long-term success. So if you've ever felt like you're kind of all over the place trying to please everybody and yet pleasing no one, then this video is for you. Let's talk a little bit first about why your sweet spot matters. And I have so much experience with finding this. It took me over 10 different brands and a total of over 50 domain purchases in the past 20 years to figure out where my sweet spot really lies. And for most of my journey of entrepreneurship, I've been doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is helping women entrepreneurs with their content creation strategies, whether it be podcasting, blogging, videos, or email marketing. These are things that I help with, and especially SEO. That's one of my big ones with blogging, is finding the right keywords to really bring in that traffic. So those are the things I do. And I also have been helping homeschool moms and mompreneurs build out a business, starting with your passion. So because of those two things, I've been really able to be passionate in what I do, because those are my two business passions. And that's what I want to start with, actually, just to share that it's important to start with your passion. So if you don't know what you're passionate about, you need to ask the people around you, because they know, because you're always talking about it and your heartbeat is going in that direction. And they're always listening to you say what's on your heart, because your heart will speak. Your heart will speak for you. So if you don't know for sure like what kind of business you want to do and you're confused about your passion, just ask the people that are closest to you. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask your loved ones, and really you could do a deep dive and figure that out for yourself. Give yourself a coaching session. I do have a free tool that you can use to help you find your passion. So I'm going to leave that link for you. It's the Find Your Passions Workbook, and you'll see it in the description box below, because I want you to grab that and have a hold of it so that you can help figure out what your passions are. But when I figured out that I love podcasting, I liked making videos, and I like creating content through my blogs, that's what I focus my energy on. Then you have to figure out your expertise. What are you really good at? So like, again, for me, it's SEO, it's content strategy. What is your expertise? And it's the intersection of these things that's going to make your business idea be more viable. The last thing you need to figure out is, what does your audience need? So you need to know who your ideal audience is, but you need to know what that ideal audience needs from you, right? So figure out what kinds of problems you want to solve and take it from there, right? What do you want to solve? And how does your audience relate to you? And that's going to help you to drive a business that brings people back to you, the right people, not just anybody. Again, we're not speaking to everybody. We're speaking to a certain group of people. And when all three of these things align, that's when you're going to find your sweet spot. So let's break down a couple more steps that you can use to help you find your niche. The first is that you'll want to brainstorm your interests and your skills. So what are you interested in? What are your skill sets? Let's talk about that. Let's make a list. Like, write down a list of all the things that you believe that you're awesome at, that you could help other people with. But it has to be what you're interested in plus what you're good at, because nobody's going to hire you to do something you're not good at, even though you're passionate about it. So let's make sure that checks both of those check boxes. And then you want to go into research your tools. So you want to use Google Trends. You want to use Answer the Public. Keyword Planner is free. All these are free tools, or at least a free version of it is available. You can do social media polls. If you're already on socials and you have a connection of some audience that follows you and that is interested in you, you can ask them like what they're interested in and get an idea, get some feedback. I ran polls through my email newsletters before, and that's been so eye-opening about what the audience who's already on my list, what they actually want and what they don't care about. So ask your audience. What I found out is that for me, a lot of the women on my list struggle with SEO, also with confidence to start making content, just because there's so many different facets of creating that content, getting it out there and doing it regularly, and maybe wanting to be polished and wanting to be perfect. And so all of this kind of makes people hesitate. You know, should I try this? I'm working a full-time job. Should I try this? Is it going to work for me? Is it just going to be some hobby that falls off by the wayside? And maybe it is, but you have to know, you have to find out. So that's where the confidence comes in. And that's why I have a course available for you. It's a mini course that I created just to get you rolling with the idea of becoming more confident in your skin when it comes to being online. And that is found in the description box below as well. That course is a very short course, but this product is there to kind of just get your wheels turning and boost your confidence. And so I hope you'll take a look at that if it's something you need in your life right now. And lastly, just keep testing and iterating. Just test and iterate. That means you test and then you test again, right? You apply what you've learned from the last test and you do it again. Right? So if you learn that your audience is interested in something totally different than what you thought, then maybe you start implementing some of those ideas in your new products and your next steps, like what you're going to talk about next on your podcast, what you plan to discuss on your YouTube video. Believe me, your audience can help to shape your content drastically. So what you thought you were going to talk about, you end up not talking about as much of because your audience told you what they need. So it could really change the way your business flows. When I first started my Her Business Elevated podcast in 2021, I was really just out there to figure out what women in business were looking for, and especially mompreneurs like myself at the time when I was still homeschooling my kids. But I wanted to reach more women other than those who were only considering themselves a mompreneur. And so I wanted to take this to kind of a different level so that I was talking to women from different walks of life in business, everything from CEOs of large Fortune 500 companies to CEOs of small independent solopreneur businesses. And so in trying to find my niche, I found what really works for me now in 2024 and beyond. And that even is changing and shifting as my life changes and my contacts and the people I'm connected with change. And what my audience is telling me that they want and they need from me, that's how I'm changing. So how I started, and then I went into like more of a faith-based women in business kind of concept, into now sort of broadening that out a little bit more when it comes to faith, but just like focusing on women who, again, are CEOs of their own business. And so I love how the direction of my business is going. And I like that it is shifting according to what the needs are at the moment, because that makes a big difference. Again, flexibility. I talked about this on my last video, but flexibility is so important. Got to be flexible in business, or you're just going to stay stuck if you're not flexible. Being rigid never serves you in business. There's some things you have to stand on business about and you can't move because that is like the foundation of your business. But there are most things in business you can move around. Most things you can manipulate. It's a chessboard. You're playing chess. You have the queen, you have the king, you have everything. You have everything. So you're able to move things around as you wish. It's your chessboard. Some common pitfalls that I want you to avoid is being too broad. Now, I said just now that you can do whatever you want. It's your business, but you don't want to talk to everybody. You want to talk to certain people. So figure out who those people are. And when you're speaking to them, in terms of your tone, your voice, it needs to come from a place of relatability. So if you don't have any experience as a mother in, more specifically, the homeschooling community, and you are talking from the perspective of someone who's never raised any kids and has never homeschooled their kids, then you probably don't want to start a blog or a podcast or a video channel helping women in that area of life, because they will be able to sense right away that you don't have what it is that they need to help them in their journey. They need someone who relates to them. And I'm just using that as an example because that's where I've been. I've been there. I'm no longer in that space, as I no longer homeschool my kids. They're old. But I was there. I was there for over 15 years. I was right there with them. And because I was there, I was able to share my life with them and connect with them and talk to them on a level that, like I was talking to a friend, because that's what I considered them. I considered them my audience, my listeners, viewers. They were my friends. And even in my email newsletter, I call them friend, because I wanted them to see that I'm right there with them and we're doing the homeschool journey together. And it can be tough, but let's talk about it. And so I feel like that relatability helped a lot with that particular brand. So this is what you have to apply to all your brands. And this is what I'm working on right now with my Her Business Elevated brand. And that's why it's so important that I know who I'm talking to. Am I talking to moms? Am I talking to women in business? Am I talking to entrepreneurial women or women that own huge companies with big investors? Like, what audience do I have? And so that's important to how I communicate with my audience, and it is for you too. So be sure that you know that. And another thing that you want to avoid is ignoring your audience. So once you've chosen a niche that you love, you don't want to ignore them. Talk to them, just be in touch with them on a somewhat regular basis. And the regular is in the eye of the beholder. So what's regular to you may, to someone else, it might not be the same thing. Some people say once a week you need to get an email out to your list. You need to have a list in the first place. We'll talk about that later in another video, but list building is a very important part of your business. It is actually integral to your business. And then past that point, once they come to your list, they want to still hear from you. So I'm not saying it has to be every week, and it doesn't have to be every month, though it's preferable that is every month, a few times a month. But I've had seasons where I didn't say anything for 6 months because my life was just blown out of the water and I had to take a breath and step back from business. And I've had that happen to me quite a few times. So my list knows that if they don't hear from me for a few months, I'll be back. But when I do come back, it's with energy and it's with resolve, and it's because I've had time to rest. But I'm not gone for years. I come back and I talk to my list and I re-engage, and then that way we can reestablish that trust when I am gone. So just making sure you stay in contact with your list is really going to serve you well so that you're able to make those connections and make the sales that you want to make eventually, right? So you want to share your content with them, all your free content to help them in their areas of life, but you also want to sell them your products because those products are also a way of you serving your audience. You serve through your free products and your paid products. You serve through your services. So this is what you do to help your audience. In another video, I want to talk to you guys more about some long-term strategies for succeeding online and making sure that your niche is successful and that what you've chosen to do is going to work. Again, I'm all about long-term because I've been here for a long time and I haven't gone anywhere, and I've seen a lot. And I've seen stuff come and go. I've seen all the fads. I've seen people come into entrepreneurship and drop out of entrepreneurship. And I myself have come into entrepreneurship and gone out and gotten jobs because entrepreneurship wasn't working for a season of my life. And so I know what that is. And so I'm here to just kind of help you with the longevity of business and how you can have this going on the back burner. Even if you are doing life in other ways and you're showing up in other spaces and you have to go get your 9-to-5 and you're working corporate, you can still have this. So I want to encourage you to don't give up on your business dreams because it can still be here and you can build it out. It can be something that proves so beneficial to you later in life when you need it. You might have to pull it out of the back pocket and say, here's my passive income from that business I started 10 years ago. And I'm glad I didn't give up on it. So that's what I want for you guys because that's where I am right now. And I'm super glad that I didn't give up. All right. And I can't wait to talk to you later. If you enjoyed this video, if this encouraged you in any way, please thumbs up for me. Please give me a thumbs up. And I would love for you to subscribe, leave a comment below because starting some interaction and engagement is really going to help this channel really a lot. If you can engage with me, I would love it. Believe me, I love comments and I love writing back. So I will not be ignoring your comment. If you write to me, I'm going to write you back. All right. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to share more with you on another video.